The air was thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth as Elliot stood frozen, his boots sinking into the muddy park path. Across from him, Sam's eyes, those same hazel eyes that had once mapped every corner of his soul, glinted with a mix of defiance and pain. "You came back," Elliot whispered, his voice cracking like glass under pressure. "But you're 10 years too late." It was a crisp October evening in Willow Creek, Pennsylvania, a small town where secrets lingered like fog over the Susquehanna River. Elliot, now 32, had spent a decade rebuilding himself after Sam, his childhood love, vanished without a word. They'd been inseparable, two boys sneaking kisses behind the old mill, dreaming of a world that wouldn't judge them. But at 18, Sam left for college in California, promising to return. He never did. Not until today. Elliot's hands trembled as he shoved them into his leather jacket. The park around them was quiet, save for the rustle of leaves and the distant hum of a car. Sam stepped closer, his flannel shirt slightly unbuttoned, revealing the familiar scar on his collarbone from a skateboarding accident at 16. "I had to go, El," Sam said, voice low. "My dad, he found out about us. Threatened to cut me off. Worse. I was a kid. Scared." Scared. Elliot's laugh was bitter, slicing through the dusk. "You think I wasn't? I stayed here, Sam." I faced the whispers, the looks, the faggot scrawled on my locker. "You ran." His chest tightened, memories flooding back, the empty mailbox, the unanswered calls, the nights he'd cried himself to sleep in their old treehouse. Sam's jaw clenched, but before he could respond, a soft voice cut through. "Elliot." Lila approached, her auburn hair catching the fading sunlight. She was 31, a local librarian who'd been Elliot's rock through the years of heartbreak. Her sweater hugged her frame, and her eyes, usually warm, were shadowed with unease. She'd heard the rumors of Sam's return, but hadn't expected to find them here, face to face. "Lila," Elliot said, softening. She'd been his confidant, his friend, and, for a brief time, something more, a desperate attempt to fill the void Sam left. Their fling had ended amicably, but seeing her now, with Sam standing so close, twisted something deep inside him. Sam's gaze flicked to Lila, then back to Elliot. "You moved on," he said, not accusingly, but with a quiet hurt that stung worse than anger. "I saw you two at the county fair last year, laughing, holding hands." "We were friends," Elliot snapped, though guilt gnawed at him. "You don't get to judge me for trying to live." He stepped back, the space between them a chasm of lost years. Lila touched his arm, her fingers gentle but grounding. "You don't owe him an explanation," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. The tension hung heavy, a storm waiting to break. Sam's eyes softened, and he reached out, hesitating. "I came back to make things right. El, I'm not that scared kid anymore. I've spent years regretting leaving you." His voice cracked, raw with sincerity. "I love you. I never stopped." Elliot's breath hitched. Those words, dreamed of them, hated them, needed them. But they came too late, didn't they? He glanced at Lila, her expression unreadable, then back at Sam. The boy he'd loved was still there, buried under years of distance and pain. But so was the betrayal. "I don't know if I can trust you," Elliot admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The park seemed to hold its breath, the world narrowing to the three of them. Lila stepped closer, her presence a quiet anchor. "You don't have to decide now," she said, her eyes meeting Sam's with a mix of pity and resolve. "But you both need to face what's real." Sam nodded, his shoulders slumping. "I'm staying in town, El, at my mom's old place. I'm not running again." He turned to leave, pausing to look back. Find me when you're ready. As Sam's figure faded into the twilight, Elliot felt Lila's hand slip into his. Warm and steady. What do I do? He murmured, his heart a battlefield of hope and hurt. Lila squeezed his hand. You figure out what you want. Not what you wanted 10 years ago. That night, Elliot lay awake in his small apartment above the town's hardware store, the ceiling fan creaking above him. Sam's return had ripped open wounds he'd thought were healed. He remembered their first kiss at 15, under the 4th of July fireworks, the world bursting with color and possibility. He remembered the silence that followed Sam's departure, the way it had hollowed him out. And he thought of Lila, who'd stayed, who'd loved him in her own way, even when he couldn't love her back fully. The next morning, Willow Creek buzzed with its usual rhythm farmers at the diner. Kids on bikes, the river glinting under the sun. Elliot walked to the library, where Lila was shelving books. You okay? She asked, her voice soft but probing. He nodded, though it felt like a lie. I need time, he said, to think. She smiled, but there was a flicker of something fear. Maybe. In her eyes. Take all the time you need. Just don't lose yourself in the past. By noon, Elliot found himself at the old mill, their teenage hideout. The wooden beams were weathered now, graffiti faded. He traced the initials they'd carved, E plus Sure's fingers lingering on the rough wood. Sam's words echoed, I love you. I never stopped. Could he believe them? Could he forgive? As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows, Elliot made a decision. He'd see Sam. Not to fall back into his arms, but to understand why he'd come back. What he wanted. He owed himself that much. With a deep breath, he headed toward Sam's mother's house. The weight of 10 years heavy on his shoulders, but a spark of hope flickering in his chest. Sam's childhood home stood at the edge of Willow Creek, a modest 2-story with peeling blue paint and a sagging porch. Elliot hesitated at the gate, the creak of its hinges pulling him back to summer nights when they'd sneak out to stargaze. His heart thudded as he knocked, each rap echoing the questions he couldn't silence. Why now? Why me? Sam opened the door, his face softening at the sight of Elliot. You came, he said, stepping aside. The living room was a time capsule faded floral curtains, a worn couch, photos of a younger Sam grinning with his mom. The air smelled of coffee and old wood. Sam gestured to the couch, his hands nervous. Want something to drink? No, Elliot said, sitting stiffly. I want answers. His voice was steady, but inside, he was unraveling. Sam sat across from him, elbows on his knees, his hazel eyes searching Elliot's face. I owe you that, Sam admitted. More than that. He began slowly, his words measured but raw. After leaving Willow Creek, Sam had tried to bury his feelings in college, in new cities, in fleeting relationships. But his father's threats to Somit, violence had loomed large. I thought I was protecting you by staying away, Sam said, his voice thick. If I came back, he'd have come after you too. I was a coward. I know that now. Elliot's throat tightened. You could have called. Written. Anything. The silence after Sam left had been louder than any fight. A void that swallowed Elliot's youth. Sam nodded, guilt etching lines into his face. I tried. Once. Got as far as dialing your number. But I panicked. By the time I got my shit together, years had passed. I thought you'd moved on. Elliot's mind flashed to Lila, to the nights they'd spent talking over cheap wine, her laughter pulling him from the dark. She'd been there when Sam wasn't. But she wasn't Sam. No one ever had been. I tried to, Elliot said, I had to. You left me with nothing. Sam leaned forward, his hands clasped tightly. I'm here now. I've got a job in Philly. Remote for now. I'm staying. For you. If you'll let me. His voice broke. And for a moment, he was the boy Elliot had loved. Vulnerable and open. Elliot stood, pacing to the window. Outside, kids played in the street, their shouts distant. He wanted to believe Sam, to fall into the promise of second chances. But trust was a fragile thing, shattered long ago. What do you expect? He asked, turning. That I'll just forget. That we'll pick up where we left off. No, Sam said, standing too. I expect you to be pissed, to hate me, but I'm asking for a chance to earn you back. He stepped closer, close enough that Elliot could smell his cologne, the same cedarwood scent from their teenage years. It was dizzying, disarming. Before Elliot could respond, his phone buzzed. A text from Lila, coffee later. Need to talk. He slipped the phone back into his pocket, guilt prickling. Lila deserved better than being caught in this mess. I need to go, he said abruptly. Sam's face fell, but he nodded. I'll be here, he said, whenever you're ready. Elliot walked back through town, the autumn air sharp against his skin. Willow Creek felt smaller now, its streets heavy with memories. He passed the diner where he and Sam had shared milkshakes, the park where they'd first held hands. Every corner whispered their past. And now Sam was here, flesh and blood, threatening to rewrite it. At the coffee shop, Lila waited at a corner table, her auburn hair tucked behind her ears. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You saw him, she said. Not a question. Elliot nodded, stirring his coffee. He wants to try again, he admitted. Says he's changed. Lila's fingers tightened around her mug. And you? What do you want? Her voice was gentle, but there was an edge, a fear she couldn't hide. Elliot sighed, his thoughts a tangle. I don't know. He broke me, Lila. But he's still him. She reached across the table, her hand resting on his. You're not the same person you were at 18. Neither is he. But you deserve someone who stays. Not someone who comes back when it's convenient. Her words hit hard, echoing his own doubts. Lila had always seen him clearly, even when he couldn't see himself. That evening, Elliot walked to the river, the water reflecting the town's lights. He thought of Sam's confession, of Lila's quiet strength. His heart was a tug-of-war between past and present, love and loyalty. He pulled out his phone, typing a message to Sam, meet me tomorrow. Old Mill. Noon. He hit send before he could overthink it. The next day, the mill was quiet, sunlight streaming through broken windows. Sam was already there, leaning against a beam, his expression hopeful but guarded. You came, he said, echoing his words from yesterday. Elliot nodded, his throat tight. I'm not promising anything, he said, but I'm here. They talked for hours, peeling back layers of hurt and regret. Sam spoke of his years in San Francisco, the therapy that helped him face his fears, the moment he realized he couldn't outrun his love for Elliot. Elliot shared his own scars, the loneliness, the anger, the slow rebuilding of his life. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. As they left the mill, Sam reached for Elliot's hand. Elliot let him take it, just for a moment, before pulling away. Slow, he said. We go slow. Sam smiled. Small but genuine. Slow's good, he said. I've got time. The days that followed were a delicate dance of caution and curiosity. Elliot met Sam at the diner, the park, the riverbank, small steps, toward rebuilding something neither could name. Each meeting chipped away at the walls Elliot had built. But the past lingered like a shadow, ready to swallow any spark of trust. Willow Creek's autumn deepened, leaves carpeting the streets in crimson and gold. Elliot, now splitting his days between the hardware store and these tentative reunions, felt the town watching. Whispers followed him, old gossip reignited by Sam's return. Heard Sam's back. A customer muttered, eyeing Elliot over a bag of nails. You two picking up where you left off. Elliot forced a smile, deflecting. Just catching up. Sam, true to his word, stayed. He worked remotely, his laptop glowing in the dim light of his mother's house. He'd fixed the porch, repainted the shutters, as if anchoring himself to Willow Creek. One evening, he invited Elliot over for dinner. Nothing fancy, Sam said, stirring a pot of chili. Just us. The kitchen was warm, the air thick with spices and memories. They ate in near silence, the clink of spoons loud in the quiet. You're different, Elliot said finally, pushing his bowl aside. Not just older. Different. Sam leaned back, his hazel eyes steady. I had to grow up. Figure out who I was without my dad's shadow. Without you. He paused, voice softening. I missed you every day. Elliot's chest ached. He wanted to reach across the table, to touch Sam's hand, but fear held him back. Instead, he asked, why didn't you fight for us back then? Sam's gaze dropped. I thought I was saving you. Stupid. I know. I should have fought. I should have stayed. The honesty disarmed Elliot, but it didn't erase the years of silence. He stood, needing air. I need to think, he said, stepping onto the porch. Sam followed, keeping his distance. I'll wait, he said simply. As long as it takes. Lila noticed the change in Elliot. At the library, she caught him staring out the window, lost in thought. You're spending a lot of time with him, she said, shelving a book. Her tone was neutral, but her eyes betrayed her worry. Elliot sighed. I don't know what I'm doing. Lila. He's still Sam. But I'm not sure who I am with him anymore. She nodded, her lips tight. Just be careful. You've built a good life here. Don't let him unravel it. Her words stung, not because they were harsh, but because they were true. Lila had seen him at his lowest, had helped him rebuild. Losing her friendship wasn't an option. That weekend, the town held its annual harvest festival, strings of lights twinkling over Main Street. Elliot went with Lila, their tradition for years. They shared caramel apples, laughed at kids chasing pumpkins. But the air felt heavy. Sam was there, helping at a cider booth, his smile bright as he handed out cups. When he saw Elliot, his face lit up, but he faltered at Lila's side. Hey, Sam said, approaching, having fun. Lila's smile was polite but guarded. Always, she said. You settling in okay? Sam nodded, glancing at Elliot. Trying to. The moment stretched, awkward and charged, until Lila excused herself to check a stall. Alone, Sam stepped closer. She's good for you, he said, not jealous but wistful. I'm glad you had her. Elliot's throat tightened. She's my best friend, he said. But you're something else. The admission slipped out, raw and unfiltered. Sam's eyes softened. But before he could speak, Lila returned, her expression unreadable. The festival blurred on, but Elliot's mind was elsewhere. He watched Sam from a distance, pouring cider, laughing with townsfolk. He watched Lila, her warmth anchoring the crowd. His heart pulled in two directions, each tied to a different piece of himself. Later, as fireworks lit the sky, Elliot found Sam by the river. "This used to be our thing," Sam said, gesturing to the bursts of color. "You and me. Sneaking beers. Watching the sky explode." Elliot smiled despite himself. "Yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago." Sam turned to him. "Serious. I want new memories. Elle. With you. If you'll let me." Elliot's pulse raced. He wanted to say yes, to dive headfirst into the possibility. But doubt anchored him. "I need more than words. Sam. I need to know you won't run again." Sam nodded, his hand brushing Elliot's briefly. "I'll prove it. Every day, if you let me." They stood in silence, the fireworks painting their faces in fleeting light. Elliot felt the weight of the moment, the choice looming. He thought of Lila's warning, of Sam's promises, of the boy he'd been and the man he'd become. As the last firework faded, he made a choice not to decide. Not yet, but to keep walking this path, to see where it led. Weeks turned into a fragile routine. Elliot and Sam met daily coffee at the diner, walks by the river, quiet evenings at the mill. Each moment was a step towards something undefined, a bridge between who they'd been and who they might become. But trust was a slow burn, and Elliot guarded his heart like a fortress. Sam was patient, his actions speaking louder than his words. He fixed a leaky pipe at the hardware store, brought Elliot's favorite muffins from the bakery, listened when Elliot spoke of the years alone. One chilly morning, Sam handed Elliot a small wooden carvinga tiny oak tree, its branches curling like their old initials. "Made it for you," Sam said. "Shy. Thought it'd remind you of us." Elliot turned the carving over in his hands, the wood smooth against his fingers. "You're trying hard," he said, his voice soft but guarded. Sam smiled, small and hopeful. "Gotta start somewhere." The gesture cracked something in Elliot, a sliver of warmth piercing the cold of his doubt. But Lila's presence was a constant anchor. She and Elliot still met for coffee, their conversations easy but tinged with unspoken tension. One afternoon, she set her mug down, her eyes piercing. "You're falling for him again, aren't you?" she asked. Elliot froze, the truth too raw to admit. "I don't know," he said. "It's complicated." Lila's smile was sad but kind. "It's okay to want him, Elle. Just make sure it's for the right reasons. Not because he's familiar." Her words lingered, a reminder of the life he'd built without Sam. She'd been his constant, his safe harbor. Could he risk that for a love that had already broken him once? That evening, Sam suggested a drive to the nearby hills, a place they'd gone as teens to escape the world. The road wound through forests, the air crisp with pine. They parked at a lookout, the town's lights twinkling below. Sam pulled out a blanket, and they sat, shoulders brushing. "Remember when we came here?" Sam asked. "We planned our big escape New York. Maybe San Francisco." Elliot nodded, the memory bittersweet. "We were going to take on the world." Sam's laugh was soft. "We were so young. I thought I could outrun everything me dad. This town. Myself." He turned to Elliot, his eyes earnest. "I'm not running anymore. I want this. Us." The words hung between them, heavy with promise. Elliot's heart pounded, torn between fear and longing. He leaned closer, their faces inches apart, the pull magnetic. But before their lips could meet, his phone buzzed. "Lila. Emergency at the library. Can you come?" Elliot pulled back, guilt flooding him. "I have to go," he said, standing. Sam's face fell, but he nodded. "Go? I'll be here." The drive back was silent, Elliot's mind a storm of what-ifs. At the library, Lila was shaken, books scattered from a burst pipe. They worked side by side, mopping water, salvaging pages. "Thanks for coming," she said, her voice soft. "Always," Elliot replied, meaning it. As they cleaned, Lila opened up. "I'm scared, Elle. Not just about you and Sam. About losing you." Her vulnerability hit hard. She'd been his rock. But she was human, too, with her own fears. Elliot hugged her, his voice steady. "You won't lose me, no matter what." The next day, Elliot found Sam at the mill, sketching in a notebook. "You okay?" Sam asked, sensing the weight on Elliot's shoulders. Elliot sat beside him, the air thick with unspoken words. "Lila's my family," he said. "I can't hurt her. But you're in my veins. Sam. Always have been." Sam's hand found his, tentative but warm. "I don't want to take you from her. I just want a place in your life." Elliot's throat tightened, the truth spilling out. "I want you in it. But I'm scared you'll leave again." Sam squeezed his hand. "I won't. I swear it." They sat in silence, hands linked, the mill's shadows wrapping around them. Elliot felt the pull of both worlds, Lila's steady love, Sam's reckless promise. He didn't have answers, but for the first time, he felt ready to face the questions. As they left the mill, Sam's arm brushed his. A quiet vow. Elliot let it linger, a small surrender to hope. Winter crept into Willow Creek, dusting the town with frost. Elliot's days blurred between work, Sam, and Lila, each moment a tightrope walk between past promises and present desires. Sam's presence was a steady flame, warming but dangerous, while Lila's friendship grounded him, a root he couldn't imagine pulling up. One snowy evening, Sam invited Elliot to a local art fair, a small event in the community center. The room buzzed with chatter, paintings and crafts lining the walls. Sam's sketches landscapes of Willow Creek hung in a corner, raw and evocative. "You're good," Elliot said, tracing a drawing of their old treehouse. Sam shrugged, bashful. "It's how I kept you close, all those years." The words hit Elliot hard, stirring a longing he'd tried to bury. They wandered the fair, sharing hot cocoa, their laughter easing the tension. But when Sam's hand brushed Elliot's, lingering, Elliot pulled back. "Not here," he whispered, glancing at the crowd. Willow Creek had grown kinder, but old judgments lingered. Sam nodded, understanding but hurt. Later, they walked through the snow, streetlights casting soft halos. "I hate hiding," Sam said, his breath visible in the cold. "I want to hold your hand, Elle, out in the open." Elliot's chest tightened. He wanted it too, but fear of the town, of losing control held him back. "Give me time," he said. Sam's smile was sad but patient. "I've got plenty." Lila, meanwhile, was pulling away. At their weekly coffee, she was quieter, her eyes distant. "You're happy with him," she said, stirring her latte. "I can see it." Elliot frowned, sensing the weight behind her words. "You're still my best friend, Lila. That doesn't change." She nodded, but her smile was thin. "I know, but things are changing. Elle, I feel it." Her words haunted him. That night, alone in his apartment, Elliot stared at the wooden carving Sam had given him. He thought of Lila's steady presence, of Sam's reckless love. He wanted both. But life didn't work that way. He texted Lila, "Can we talk?" "Tomorrow." She replied instantly, "Always." The next day, they met at the river, the water half frozen under a gray sky. Lila hugged her coat tight, her auburn hair dusted with snow. I'm not blind, she said, her voice trembling. You love him. You always have. Elliot's heart sank. I love you too, Lila. Not the same way, but just as real. She nodded, tears brimming. I know, but I can't keep being your safety net. Her words cut deep, a truth he'd avoided. Lila deserved more than half a heart. I'm sorry, he whispered, pulling her into a hug. She held him tightly, then stepped back. Be happy, Elle. With him, if that's what you want. Just, don't forget me. She walked away, leaving footprints in the snow. Elliot's world tilted. Losing Lila's closeness felt like losing a limb. But her words freed something in him. He drove to Sam's, the snow falling thicker now. Sam opened the door, concern etching his face. You okay? He asked. Elliot shook his head, stepping inside. Lila stepping back. She thinks I'm choosing you. Sam's eyes widened. Are you? The question hung heavy, demanding an answer. Elliot took a breath, his voice steady despite the storm inside. I want to, but I need to know you're all in. Sam. No running. No hiding. Sam stepped closer, his hands cupping Elliot's face. I'm all in. I swear. Their lips met, tentative at first, then desperate, years of longing pouring out. The kiss was fire and memory, a promise and a risk. When they pulled apart, Sam's forehead rested against Elliot's. I'm not going anywhere, he whispered. Elliot nodded, his heart racing but sure. Then we try. For real. They spent the night talking, laughing, rediscovering each other. Sam's stories of San Francisco, his struggles, his growth, painted a man Elliot barely knew yet still loved. As dawn broke, they fell asleep on the couch, tangled together, the world outside quiet under a blanket of snow. Spring bloomed in Willow Creek, the air sweet with lilacs and new beginnings. Elliot and Sam were a couple now, tentative but real, their days filled with small, deliberate steps. They held hands at the diner, ignoring raised eyebrows, and kissed under the oak tree where they'd once carved their initials. The town watched, some with warmth, others with judgment, but Elliot found he cared less each day. Lila remained a quiet presence. She and Elliot still met, their friendship strained but enduring. At the library, she'd smile, tease him about Sam, but her eyes held a lingering sadness. I'm happy for you, she said one afternoon, shelving books. Really? Elliot hugged her, grateful but guilty. You're still my family, he said. She nodded, but the distance between them was palpable. Sam, meanwhile, was a force of change. He joined the local art co-op, his sketches gaining attention. He and Elliot renovated the mill, turning it into a studio space, their laughter echoing off the old beams. One evening, as they painted walls, Sam paused, paintbrush in hand. I want to stay here. Elle. Build a life. With you. Elliot's heart swelled, but doubt lingered. Forever's a big word, he said. Sam grinned. I'm good for it. Their relationship wasn't perfect. Arguments flared over Sam's late nights working, Elliot's guarded heart, the town's lingering stares. One night, after a heated fight about trust, Elliot stormed out, walking to the river. Sam found him there, his voice soft. I'm not perfect, Elle, but I'm here. Elliot sighed, leaning into him. I know. I'm trying. The turning point came at the town's Pride event, a small but growing celebration. Sam convinced Elliot to go, their first public outing as a couple. Under rainbow flags, they danced, laughed, held each other without fear. For the first time, Elliot felt free, the weight of the past lifting. Sam whispered, "This is us. El. This is home." Elliot kissed him, the crowd fading away. But life wasn't a fairy tale. Lila's absence at the event stung. Elliot texted her, inviting her to coffee. But her reply was brief, busy. Maybe next week. He worried she was slipping away, her life moving in a direction he couldn't follow. He confided in Sam, who listened, then said, "Give her time. She loves you. That doesn't just vanish." One sunny afternoon, Elliot found Lila at the park, reading on their old bench. He sat beside her, the silence heavy. "I miss you," he said. She closed her book, her eyes soft. "I miss you too. But you're where you're supposed to be." She paused, then added, "I'm seeing someone. It's new, but good." Elliot's heart lifted. Bittersweet. "I'm happy for you," he said, meaning it. They talked for hours, rebuilding their bond. Lila's new relationship, with a teacher named Mia, was tentative but hopeful. "You'll always be my best friend," Lila said, hugging him. "Just don't be a stranger." Elliot promised he wouldn't, relief flooding him. They weren't the same, but they were still family. Back at the mill, Sam was sketching, his hands smudged with charcoal. Elliot wrapped his arms around him, resting his chin on Sam's shoulder. "Lila's okay," he said. "We're okay." Sam turned, kissing him softly. "Good. Now we build our okay." They laughed, the sound light and free. A new chapter unfolding. As spring turned to summer, Elliot and Sam grew stronger, their love a quiet defiance against the past. They planned a trip, just the two of them, to New York, a nod to their teenage dreams. The night before they left, Elliot stood in the mill, looking at their carved initials. He traced them, smiling. The past had shaped him, but it didn't own him. Not anymore. New York City was a whirlwind of noise and light, a stark contrast to Willow Creek's quiet streets. Elliot and Sam checked into a small Brooklyn hotel, their room overlooking a bustling street. The trip was a test, a leap into a future they were still defining. Elliot felt the weight of it, but also the thrill Sam's hand in his, their laughter blending with the city's pulse. They explored the city, wandering through Central Park, sipping coffee in Greenwich Village, kissing under neon signs. At a queer art gallery, Sam's eyes lit up, sketching ideas in his notebook. "We could do this," he said, gesturing to the vibrant space. Back home, a gallery, a community. Elliot nodded, the idea sparking something in him. "Yeah, we could." But the city also brought challenges. One night, at a crowded bar, a stranger's slurred insult cut through the music. "Faggots," he spat, glaring at them. Elliot tensed, old fears resurfacing. But Sam squeezed his hand. "Ignore him," he said, pulling Elliot closer. They danced, defiant. But the moment lingered, a reminder of the world's sharp edges. Back at the hotel, Elliot was quiet, staring out the window. Sam sat beside him, his voice soft. "You okay?" Elliot sighed. "I thought I was past caring what people think." "Guess not." Sam's fingers traced his jaw. "You don't have to be past it. Just don't let it stop you." Elliot leaned into him, finding strength in Sam's steady presence. The trip wasn't all heavy. They laughed over pizza, got lost in the subway, shared a quiet moment on the Brooklyn Bridge. Each day felt like a promise, a piece of their future taking shape. But Elliot couldn't shake Lila's absence. He texted her photos, updates, hoping to bridge the gap. Her replies were warm but brief, her life moving forward without him. Back in Willow Creek, summer hummed with possibility. Sam and Elliot began planning their gallery, a space for local artists, especially queer ones. They worked late at the mill, sketching layouts, dreaming big. One night, covered in sawdust, Sam pulled Elliot into a kiss. "This is it, El. Our life." Elliot grinned, his heart full. "Yeah, ours." But life had other plans. One morning, Elliot got a call from Lila's mother. Lila had been in a car accident minor, but she was shaken, in the hospital for observation. Elliot rushed to her side, Sam following. Lila lay in the hospital bed, bruised but smiling. "You didn't have to come," she said, but her eyes said otherwise. Mia, her new girlfriend, was there, holding her hand, her presence warm but unfamiliar. Elliot sat by Lila, guilt and relief warring inside him. "I'm here," he said. "Always." Lila squeezed his hand, her voice soft. "I know." Mia watched, quiet but kind, and Elliot felt a shift in new balance forming. Lila was building her own life, just as he was. That night, Sam and Elliot sat on the mill's roof, stars bright above. "You're a good friend," Sam said. "She's lucky to have you." Elliot nodded, his heart heavy but hopeful. "I'm lucky to have her." "And you?" Sam's arm wrapped around him, a silent vow. As summer faded, the gallery took shape. They named it Oak and Ink, a nod to their tree, their history. The town buzzed with curiosity, some skeptical, others supportive. Elliot felt the weight of their dream, but also its power. He and Sam were building something real, something theirs. The night before the gallery's opening, Elliot stood in the mill, looking at their carved initials. Sam joined him, his hand slipping into Elliot's. "Ready for tomorrow?" he asked. Elliot smiled, his heart steady. "Ready for everything." They kissed, the world quiet around them, their love a light against the dark. The morning of the Oak and Ink Gallery opening dawned bright, Willow Creek alive with anticipation. The mill, once a crumbling relic, now glowed with fresh paint and string lights. Its walls lined with Art Sam sketches, local paintings, queer stories in color and form. Elliot stood at the entrance, heart pounding, as townsfolk trickled in, their curiosity mingling with cautious support. Sam was everywhere greeting guests, adjusting frames, his smile infectious. He caught Elliot's eye, winking, and Elliot felt a rush of pride. This was their dream, built from pain and hope, a testament to their love. But as the crowd grew, Elliot scanned for Lila. She'd promised to come, but her absence gnawed at him. The event was a success, laughter and chatter filling the space. A local reporter snapped photos, calling it a bold new chapter for Willow Creek. Sam gave a short speech, his voice steady. "This gallery's for everyone who's ever felt unseen," he said, his eyes on Elliot. "For love that fights to be." The crowd clapped, some teary, and Elliot's chest swelled. As the night wore on, Lila arrived, Mia at her side. She hugged Elliot tightly, her smile genuine. "This is amazing, El," she said. "I'm proud of you." Mia nodded, her warmth easing the tension. They talked, laughed, the old ease returning. Lila's presence felt like a bridge rebuilt, stronger for its cracks. Later, Sam pulled Elliot to a quiet corner, where a new sketch hung a portrait of them, hands linked under the oak tree. "For you," Sam said, his voice soft. "For us." Elliot's eyes stung, the weight of their journey in every line. "It's perfect," he whispered, pulling Sam close. The night ended with music, dancing, the town alive in a way Elliot hadn't seen before. He and Sam stepped outside. The air cool. Stars bright. Sam's arms wrapped around him, his lips brushing Elliot's ear. "We did it," he whispered. Elliot nodded, his heart full. "Yeah, we did." Months later, the gallery thrived, a hub for art and community. Elliot and Sam moved in together, a small house by the river, their days filled with love and purpose. Lila and Mia became regulars, their laughter a constant in Elliot's life. The town wasn't perfect, judgments lingered, but it was changing. Slowly. With them. One evening, at the park, Elliot and Sam sat on their old bench, the oak tree above them. Lila joined, Mia's hand in hers. They talked, reminisced, the past a thread weaving them together. As the sun set, Sam took Elliot's hand, smiling at Lila. "Too late to cry now, isn't it?" he whispered, teasing but warm. Lila laughed, her eyes bright. "Way too late," she said. Elliot squeezed Sam's hand, his heart steady. The pain of the past hadn't vanished, but it had shaped something strong, a love that endured, a friendship that held, a life worth fighting for. They sat together, the four of them, under the oak tree's shadow. Willow Creek stretched out before them, flawed but home. Elliot looked at Sam, at Lila, at the life they'd built. It wasn't the dream of their youth, but it was better, real. Hard won. Theirs. As the stars emerged, Elliot leaned into Sam, his heart at peace, ready for whatever came next.